Alrighty, it is time for another DVD review, and today we are on episode 3 of the Blind Dead series reviews. So that means we are going to be talking about the Ghost Galleon, which is the third film in the series. This one is definitely a little bit different. Sorry, that was my laptop starting up. That was odd. I'll show you this. This is another, just the Blue Underground DVD. And I really like I like the cover on this one. I like the green. I'm a big green guy. And there's the inside of it. This one does not have a Spanish version that I'm aware of. I was going to say it's just the English version. I think it's also called, I had another title called Night of the Zombies or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. That's just something I heard. But this movie is directed, like the first two, by Armando de Asario. It stars Mariah Pershey and Jack Taylor. This one came out in 1975, if I didn't already say that. And this one, like I said, it's definitely different. It really stands out amongst all of them, really, and for good reasons and bad reasons. I'll get into that in a minute. But this one, I'm trying not to ruin, because I'm going to do a ranking of all these at the end. So I'm trying not to ruin my ranking, by giving you too much of what I think about all these. But I'll say that this one, I wanted to like this one a lot more than I actually did. But it's still good. It's still just fine. I like it. And it's a nice, especially if you're, doing a marathon of these, which I usually do. I'll sit down, or that's what I did for these, just watch them back to back. So this one is definitely a nice change of pace, because the first two were not the same film, but they were the second one was pretty much a remake of the first film in a way. So this one, like I said, is just kind of a nice change of scenery, nice change of pace. It starts out with a very creepy, with the creepy kind of Knights Templar zombie music that you get, the kind of chanting. It's heard in all in the first two movies, especially. You hear it, that's kind of the main theme of the zombie, Templar Knights, and it's really interesting. I really liked the idea of the set to this movie, of the setup of it being on a ghost ship, But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, like I said, this one starts out really, really cool. It's very spooky, very spooky opening with the opening credits. You get some kind of some sort of demon devil worship type stuff, kind of in the beginning, and I really like that. They don't really touch on the lore of the Templar Knights of the Blind Dead like they did in the first two movies, where the first movie established it and the second movie kind of changed it. This one just kind of leaves it where it is. And the plot of this one is very kind of convoluted. So basically, it's about a model who is for something. It's weird. I'm making it incorrect, but there's a model who is faking being stranded at sea or something like that, or being stranded on this ship, and so that prompts a bunch of other, and then that prompts another kidnapping on top of a whole group of people going out to find this woman on this ghost ship, and of course, when they get there, treasure becomes involved, and the people are kind of shady, and it's weird, and the Blind Dead kind of take a bit of a back seat in this one. I mean, they're still present and they're still there, but they're definitely not. I don't think that they're necessarily the forefront in this movie. They're just kind of there. Is the best way I can really describe it. And we get some really good scenes with them, but we don't get anything. The first two movies definitely weren't super violent by any means, but we don't really get anything close to the level of violence that we get in the first two movies, especially. And this one starts out kind of slow. It takes a little while to actually get to the Ghost Galleon, and when you see the ghost ship, it's kind of funny because it is a miniature, like I guess in a bathtub. Like you can really tell it's a miniature ship, you know, in like a bucket or something like that. You know, if they had done it just slightly different, I think they could have pulled it off, because the model doesn't look bad. It's just the way that it was shot, you know, makes it, you know, where you can definitely tell it's a miniature and it's a model. And that's not really a problem with me. It's just something that really stands out in this one, and that I hear a lot of people complain about when they're talking about this movie. I hear, you know, most people bring up the toy ship, you know, set, you know, and I think it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I love miniatures and I love models and things like that, you know, in movies. You know, like I said, I think it was just shot, you know, I guess subpar in this movie. I'm no director, so I can't really, you know, I can't really talk or say anything. But, you know, I do like the setting of this. I liked it being set on a old decrepit ghost ship. I really like that kind of, I like the atmosphere behind this movie. It has a really nice kind of mood to it. But the set isn't, is also, it's not the best set, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they only had half of a Galleon set to really use, so you don't really get as much of the ship as I would have liked to have seen anyway. So, you know, there's kind of that too, but what you do see is fine. And like I said, the scenes with the Blind Dead are fine. The Blind Dead look great, you know, as always. They're kind of the same models from the first two films, or the same costumes, I guess you could say, from the first two films. And you know, they're just as creepy as they always are. You know, they're no different. You know, so I really enjoy that. They just don't really, I don't know, they're just a little bit different, you know, as far as, I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything, but like I said, this one is just, it's definitely different. I think it was Armando de Sorio. He was wanting to just try something different with the Blind Dead, and like I said, this would have been his third film in that series, you know, and I think he was really just trying to, you know, do something different. And honestly, to me, I don't know if it was like, so I said in the video for Tombs of the Blind Dead, that one was filmed as a sequel to Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes, and it just became, you know, Tombs of the Blind Dead, you know. So this movie, to me, honestly feels like it was supposed to be something else. Like, that's the weird thing, is like, you know, Tombs of the Blind Dead never felt to me like it was supposed to be a Planet of the Apes film, or, you know, even with the sets and everything like this. But this movie, even though it's supposed to be a Blind Dead film, to me it feels like it was supposed to be something different. Like, it feels like the set was for something different, and the Blind Dead were just kind of shoehorned into this, you know. And again, the setting is nice, and I really like, you know, I love the visuals of, you know, the Blind Dead rising from their crypts, you know, or from their coffins in this film. You know, I really like that. There's a scene where there's one, you know, death scene I really like in this movie, you know, involving one of the women that's on this ship, that I really enjoy. I think it's just really spooky, and we don't get as many, but overall we don't get as many kills as, you know, you would expect in this movie. You know, again, not to ruin anything, but, you know, it's definitely just not what I was expected. I want to like it a little bit more every time I watch it, but I still usually will just have kind of the same feeling, you know, every time I watch this. And I don't want to really say it's disappointment. It's just more of kind of like an odd feel. Like, a lot of really odd choices were made in this one, and you know, the cast does fine. They're not the best actors, of course. The cast in the first two movies weren't the greatest actors either, but you know, it's definitely it's not anything to have to do with them. And like I said, the other two movies had a Spanish version, you know, that you can watch, that had some things that were cut from the English version. I'm of course reviewing all the English versions, but this one you can definitely tell it's dubbed, but I'm wondering if this one had a Spanish version that we're just not aware of, that did have some more stuff in it. So that, you know, that I don't know. You know, I mean, if anybody knows that, you know, definitely leave that down below, but I haven't looked into that, you know, for the most part. So as far as that goes, I don't know. You know, I really couldn't say. I'd really like to see, you know, if there is more footage to this, and if there was supposed to be more to this movie, I would really like to see that. But overall, I mean, it's not a bad one. It's definitely it's a fun movie to put on. If you're doing a marathon, I'd absolutely, like I said, it's kind of just a nice sort of change of pace. Whereas the first two movies take place in the kind of the first movie is in the old kind of crumbling ruins, and the second movie is kind of an old, crumbling sort of stone town, I guess, or village, you could say. So I really like the setting of that. Of those two movies, especially the first one. The first one I think has the best setting, so far. Anyway, but this one, I like I said, it was just kind of a little sort of a little breath of fresh air, to kind of get the Blind Dead somewhere else, and it's definitely a fun, again, change of pace. It's not a long movie. I think it's almost exactly an hour and a half. Yeah, it's 90 minutes long, so it's an hour and a half on the dot. But this one, like I said, I don't want to say it's bad. It's not a bad film. It's just different. Like it really sticks out. It is the sore thumb of this little franchise or quartet, if you will, or quadrilogy, or whatever you want to call it. It is definitely the one that stands alone, and stands out kind of as its own film. We don't really get anything that really plays on the Blind Dead aspect, the fact that they're blind. Which we really didn't get much of that in the first two movies either, but there are a few scenes that kind of play on that in the first two films. But in this one, it's completely absent. They might as well just be zombies, And like I said, this movie, I'm pretty sure it had a different title. I wonder if it says it on the back here. I believe it was originally, yeah, here it is right here. It was originally released in America as Horror of the Zombies. So I think that it honestly, you could have just called it Horror of the Zombies, and it wouldn't have didn't even really have to be a Blind Dead film, but it is, and and for that reason I do love it for its own reasons. Like I said, it is definitely part of this series of films. They're all very cohesive movies. I'm not gonna give anything away, because we've still got another one to talk about. But they are all a very cohesive kind of series of films, and I really like that. And I think Armando de Asario, I think he does just fine in this movie. I think his directing style is fine. I think just some of the choices, as far as writing were concerned, I think some of the choices were a little bit odd. Not bad, just odd. Yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about this one. It was definitely. It's definitely been the most different one, out of the bunch. I don't know how many times I can say that, but I like the music. I like the look of the Blind Dead. I like the way that this one ended too. It is kind of a silly, the ending is a little silly, but I did enjoy it. You get some nice creepy visuals at the very end, that I appreciated for what they were, but that I to a lot of people that doesn't save the whole film, for them, but I liked that, and like I said, throughout the movie you do get some creepy visuals, creepy setting, really nice atmosphere in this movie, but it just kind of it could have done a little bit more, it could have given us a little bit more to this series, I should say. So, anyway, I will let you see this, see the DVD one more time. I've had this one for a while. I bought all these at the same time. And this one's got a few special features. Not a lot. Mainly, mine's got a little dent thingy right there, which sucks, but it happens. You get a few trailers in this, not much really. The trailer to this movie, just like I said in Return of the Evil Dead, or Return of the Blind Dead, the trailer's kind of funny because the narrator, or the guy who's talking about the movie, he says the name of the film like 15 times in the trailer. So I think, you should definitely watch the trailers. They're a lot of fun, just in their own right. But anyway, that is The Ghost Galleon. Absolutely check this one out, as part of this one if you're doing a marathon of them. Don't skip this one. You'll probably get some good laughs out of it for sure. And it may not be your favorite, and it may disappoint you a little bit, but they're all Asorio's children. So we love them for what they are. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the fourth and the final film in the franchise, The Night of the Seagulls. Once we get there, we'll do the ranking and we'll see where how I kind of feel about these movies. So anyway, until next time, have a great day and goodbye.